Hey guys, it's Kevin. I thought I would do a trial run of this video chat with Kev, talk with Kev, whatever we want to call it, Kev chat. We may have to do this more frequently, and I know as a club we're making plans for what's going to happen over the coming weeks and months with what's going on with coronavirus. Fortunately for the club, at the moment we have some strict protocols in place, and we are on a temporary training plan. Our usual plan is completely suspended. All squads are in a state of social distancing, where we're trying to keep each group as small as possible, with significantly less training, certainly with some groups, but also trying to enable you to try and keep some routine, particularly while the leisure centre is still open. My biggest concern right now, and it was demonstrated when we cancelled training all of Wednesday, is that in cancelling training with the leisure centre still open, many of you just rocked up on your own from different squads to do your own training with no protocols, with any members of public, socialising, etc. So if the pool's still open at the moment, current policy in the club is we're going to continue with a reduced programme with our risk assessment in place, and at least that way we can try and control your activity as much as possible in the safest way possible, and also try and keep some routine to your lives at the moment. Specifically at the moment, the under 18s in the club will be sensing maybe some joy at school finishing, or more likely some anxiety and worry, frustration, and a sense of loss with schools closing, particularly those that are in their GCSE and A-level final years. I spoke to a couple of swimmers in my squad this morning, and well, they're very upset, mixed with emotions, not being able to sleep properly because something they are working hard for and wanting to see closure on down the line has now been taken away from them. And you can't control it. And I think actually that's where you need to focus on. This is happening to everybody, and you can't control this at all. This is government policy. Every single person in the country of your age, in your year, has now had the GCSEs and A-levels suspended, potentially fully cancelled. I think we're going to find out more today in the process of how they're going to grade you, etc. And I know some of you might be thankful that your mocks were fantastically well marked and you're ranking highly, but others of you will be deeply upset because your mocks maybe weren't as good as they should have been, and now you're worried that the hard work you put into place to try and rectify that is not going to be recognised. But I'm sure the schools are thinking of ways, and the government are thinking of ways how they can rectify that. So my point is try not to worry about this. It's out of your control. But what you can do right now is keep routine with your schoolwork. You can keep revising, you can keep studying, because you don't know what's going to come up down the line, and actually prepare for university in that sense. Some of you will be more secure in knowing what you're going to do then, some of you might not be. And I think what's really important now is that you come together as a team, because you're all in this together, we're all in this together. The club will get through this, the club is going to survive this. Sadly, I know some swimming clubs that not only have stopped training, but coaches have lost jobs. The club's about to fold. We're determined to not let this happen at the club, and the philosophy of the club over the last 6, 7 years, 8 years now that I've been at Wycombe is all about one team. We're a big club, and together we need to work with the club, work with myself, the coaching team and the committee to try and do what we can to keep the club in a sustainable going concern place, so that we have a club to come back to. When we do lock down, because I'm pretty sure that we will be ceasing activity in the club in the close future. We don't know when yet, but when that time comes, we will have a timetable of sessions, land training, different work, goal setting, psychological sessions, running sessions, loads of various things that the coaching team are being imaginative and working on to try and help you. This will apply across all squads in the club, and we will try to timetable it as much as possible. So there is significant work still going on from the coaches. So whilst you might not be receiving water training time, in my opinion, you'll be receiving fantastic training time in other aspects. And actually now, because this is what's happening with everybody, I really believe that you need to try and see the opportunity in it, because right now there'll be athletes which will be falling away, athletes that will quit swimming, athletes which will think all is lost and they have no inspiration to carry on for whatever situation you're in. We've got to stop that happening at Wycombe. We've got to stop that happening, and we do that together, because if you can keep routine in the minimal sessions we have at the moment, but if you can also keep routine with anything that comes up down the line, and you stay in touch, stay connected with us as coaches, stay connected with your teammates within your squad or each squad side by side, the friends you have across the club, it's going to be really important to pull together and maintain routine where we're not at our home facility of Wycombe Leisure Centre, Risborough, Godstow and Wycombe Abbey. So that's my task to you, is how can we keep training? Keep training in different ways, keep training in ways which will help you grow as athletes and help you move forward to reach your potential. Several swimmers, I won't keep this much longer, this is a Kev chat that's taking time, several swimmers, certainly some younger swimmers, have expressed, oh, but this competition's been cancelled next weekend, it's been cancelled in a month's time, what about the national window? Guys, this is insignificant, okay? The very survival of the swimming club is the most important thing, and being able to get you guys back into the pool properly in a healthy environment is our priority. So, competitions will come, they'll go. All of you have long-term futures in the sport, whether you're a master swimmer that is planning on swimming for the next 20 years, opportunities will come up in those 20 years. Whether you're a swimmer that's, passionately wanted to get on a European junior team this year, who knows what's going to happen with selection policy there, and who knows if that event's going to go ahead or not. But either way, it's always going to be more than European juniors, because we're about trying to get to senior level and trying to potentially make an international senior team. So let's not focus on the immediate now in terms of worrying that opportunities have been missed. Focus on the future. What can you do now to help yourself progress into the season ahead? Let's start thinking about the next season, September onwards, maybe even January onwards. We don't know how long this is going to take. And that's where your mindset should be. What can you do right now to make a difference? What can you do right now to help those teammates which are having to self-isolate right now and can't even come to our temporary lockdown sessions because they're looking after vulnerable relatives at home and they don't want to create issues for those guys? How are we going to stay connected with them and keep those guys a part of our club and a part of what we're about? And ultimately that is about community, team, coming back to our core values and why we do what we do and why we're successful. So stick together, remember it's about one team, and we can get through this. Thanks guys.